Hi guys, I'm Good Guy Griffo, and welcome to my How to Play Pharah guide. Before we start the video, if any of you enjoyed the video or learned something new, why not leave a like and subscribe? It doesn't cost anything and it helps my guides reach more people. Pharah has massive solo carry potential, as she has extremely high mobility, high spam, and the ability to dive and assassinate targets. Over the next couple of minutes, I will talk and explore everything to do with her kit, playstyle, tips, compositions, and maps, providing you with everything that you need to know to hard carry your games. Make sure you watch the entire video to ensure that you don't miss out on any important information or tips. But that's enough of that, let's get into her kit. Pharah has a total of 200 total HP made out of normal health, which is the norm for DPS characters. Pharah's primary fire is her rocket launcher. This rocket launcher will shoot rockets every 0.85 seconds. These rockets have a mildly fast travel speed and do not arc. Pharah can hold 6 of these rockets and will take 1.5 seconds to reload her weapon. These rockets will do 80 damage on direct hit, plus the explosion damage. The explosion damage is 80 at the center and 25 at 2.5 meters away. This means hitting a direct hit will deal 120 damage to the target, as well as damage the enemies around the impact. The rocket will also apply a small knockback from the explosion, having a higher strength the closer to the explosion. Pharah also receives self-damage from the rockets, as well as a knockback. The damage is only half of the normal explosion damage, but she receives the full knockback, and she can use this knockback to her advantage to gain increased mobility. Her first ability is Jump Jet. When activated, it will send Pharah flying into the air. Jump Jets has a 10-second cooldown. Her second ability is Concussive Blast. When activated, Pharah shoots a fast-moving projectile that will explode when it makes contact with an enemy or surface. When it explodes, it deals 0 damage, but it will instead apply a heavy knockback away from the center. The knockback has the same strength anywhere within its 8 meter radius. Just like with her rocket launcher, it also applies self-knockback. Concussive Blast has a 9-second cooldown. Pharah's ultimate is Barrage. When activated, Pharah will become immobile and will instantly begin to release a massive salvo of rockets. The ultimate will last for 2.5 seconds and will deal massive damage to everyone around the salvo. The salvo has a relatively large spread, requiring it to be used relatively close to ensure that all the rockets are hitting the targets. While in the ultimate, Pharah is extremely vulnerable as she can only look around and becomes extremely easy to hit, and you will often find that you will either kill everyone with your ult or they will kill you instantly, no in between. Finally, her passive is Hover Jets. This passive is more of an ability than a passive, but while in the air, Pharah can hold jump or alternate fire and she will fly upwards. This passive has a resource, so you cannot permanently have this passive activated. The hover will last for 2 seconds and will require 3 seconds of non-use to recharge. It can also be tapped instead of held to remain at your current height for much longer than by holding your passive. Playstyle. Before we go on to tips, it is extremely important to understand how we want to be playing Pharah. Pharah's strengths is that she is a highly mobile character with the potential for high spam and area denial. However, her weaknesses are that she has low DPS and can be countered pretty simply. While playing Pharah, you want to utilize your vertical mobility to gain the high ground in any fight, allowing you to shoot your rockets onto the ground, getting reliable damage, instead of being forced to only go for direct hit on enemies. You want to look to spam out the other team before making a swift engagement to clean up and finish everyone off. Something to remember is that Pharah can really struggle to kill tanks, as she has a lower DPS compared to most other characters. So remember that you need to look to go find someone low and then bounce for the kill, staying safe and airborne the entire time. Tips. How to use her mobility. Pharah has a lot of knockback and vertical mobility, and it is extremely important when playing her to understand how you can use all of them together to navigate through the battlefield. You can gain a massive boost in your vertical jump height by shooting the ground directly below you as you jump. This will deal 40 damage to you, but it is a small cost to pay for the mobility. When walking forwards, you can look down and shoot your Concussive Blast to send you forwards. You can combine these two aspects to gain massive vertical and horizontal movement, allowing you to close gaps and dive targets. How to stay in the air. As Pharah, you can stay in the air indefinitely by combining your Jump Jets and your Hover Jets. You can ensure that you never touch the ground again. Once you're in the air, simply activate your passive for a short duration, which will prevent you from falling out of the sky. You can constantly do this over and over for the span of the 10-second cooldown that Jump Jets have to remain airborne. By combining everything that we have learned about Pharah's mobility, let me just show you some examples of how these things can make a massive difference on how to maneuver the map. First, let's look at reaching the skybox on Lijiang Tower. Just with trying with jump and hover jets won't get you anywhere, but by using the rocket jump technique, we are able to scale the entire tower and float up there. Another use of the combined mobility is diving a sniper and making yourself so fast that it is impossible for them to hit you. Where to position? Pharah is unique with her position as she can't really play around her tank shields, and as such she is heavily reliant on the environmental cover. She needs to play around walls and roofs, constantly peeking over or around them, and shooting a rocket before getting back to cover. Her high mobility also opens up a lot of off-ankle and flanking routes that will allow you to apply high damage pressure onto areas that your team simply can't contest. The most ideal position for you to be is off to the side, relatively high in the air, giving you the ability to spam rockets onto the floor, getting reliable damage onto the backline characters, and then allowing you to swiftly engage and eliminate them. Comps. When playing Pharah, there is one main comp that you want to run her in, and this comp is Dive. A dive comp works really well with Pharah, as both Pharah and dive comp want to, well, dive. In this comp, Pharah acts as a fight primer. She will spam out the other team, weakening them till she can call out a low health target, or someone out of position for your team to jump. Pharah can work against any comp, but you will need to play her differently based on what comp they have. Against deathball comps, you want to look to get massive spam damage in and wipe their team with your ult. Against double shield or bunker comps, you need to look to flank them and again, spam them out looking for a pick. Against dive, you need to play more passive, looking to do mostly area denial, not allowing their tanks to stage the fight. Maps. Maps where Pharah excel are the vertical maps with choke points and tight areas to fight in. Think of maps like Oasis, where Pharah is able to use the cover of these tighter maps to spam her rockets into the clumped up teams. The maps where Pharah really tend to struggle are the flat open maps. Think of Junkertown or Blizzard World. These maps are typically dominated by snipers, and they often give Pharah the most trouble in matchups. So guys, that's about it on everything that I wanted to share with you all on this Pharah guide. Best of luck to you all in your games, and if you enjoyed the video or learned something new, why not leave a like and subscribe? It doesn't cost you anything, and it helps the guides reach more people. If you have any questions or want to ask me something, leave it down in the comments below. Till next, see you then.
My phone lights up, but it's never you.